Hey y'all,
How's it going, guys?
I'm Jay,
I'm Chris the Bird Nerd.
and
We
we
are
are the
the
Bird
Bird
Brain.
Brains.
See, you were waiting. You're waiting at the stop sign again.
I don't know. It's
You
just
just got to gun it and run it. GNR.
we
Um,
should I wish we could film our voice over our kids or something like that on that piece and see if maybe it'll spice it up a little bit or something.
that's a good idea, mate. Let's try to do that soon. That'd be funny.
I like
I
that.
don't know. Mine aren't like old enough. My oldest, she might could do it. I don't know if mine are
Yeah.
old enough to like understand the assignment. It might. I mean, maybe that'd be good. Maybe that'd be cute. Just like we go, yeah, the baby. Like it wouldn't be.
My two
It'd
older,
be.
actually probably all of my kids, they watch the videos and they
Mhm.
always make fun of Dad, you're so funny. You are the bird brains. Like, yeah,
My
yeah.
2-year-old will watch it with me, and he'll be like, "Daddy's on TV." I'm like, I don't know how to explain to him. Like, Daddy put himself on the TV.
Yeah,
Like, no,
yeah.
Daddy's not famous.
That $1 million paycheck's not coming with you being on TV.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna watch this on our old TV because Daddy can't buy a new one. All right, it's late. We're tired, but we're gonna
Yes.
knock out a podcast. What are we gonna talk about, Chris?
Yeah, we're gonna hit up the nutrition piece. Lots of people ask always, what do we feed our birds? How do we feed it? So we're gonna focus on the seed aspect of nutrition, and then we can throw in a few other nutritional items as well of what we do with our birds.
The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. Bird Brains, Bird Brains. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. The Bird Brains Podcast with Chris and Jay. Bird Brains, Bird
And
Brains.
I'll say real quick, we've talked about this before. We have another podcast where we've talked about it in the past, but we keep getting questions. So I think it's good sometimes for us to just revisit kind of the
Yeah,
old topics. And, now we have a sponsor. So, a thing I get all the time is like, where do I get what you feed your birds? Well, now we have
yep,
a way to do that. So,
yes.
New Zealand, use code what?
Bird brains.
Use code BirdBrains. You get 10% off. Um, They can ship to you. There's several good brands. Chris and I are using Hagen, the Hagen Avicultural Research Institute seed. The reason we're using their seed, the Hagen Avicultural Research Institute, which say that 5 times fast,
Yeah,
is literally a facility. It's in Canada, and they have basically pet birds that are enrolled in like lifelong nutritional studies, and they're actually, they're doing like feather data, weighing the birds, testing their poop and everything to make sure that these birds are getting a complete diet. The seed's really high quality. It's not dusty. Um, it's got some other stuff like little pieces of carrot, bunch of different kinds of seed for a wide variety of birds. Um, to me, when I switched to it a few years ago, it's like it's jet fuel. It is really great nutrition for the money, um, and just in general. So that's why we're using that. But there's other good brands out there.
yeah,
Um, you got Higgins, Volkman, Rowdy Bush, some of the Supreme stuff, especially if you have like some specialized birds like your soft bills and stuff that need pelletized diets that are out there. Um, I'm not going to trash brands, but I always call them the grocery store seed brands or the PetSmart type brands.
yeah.
Um, Seed is you get what you pay for thing,
Yep,
right?
for sure.
And I was talking to somebody recently and they sent me a picture of a seed and they're like, "Hey, is this good?" And they sent me the label and I took a picture of the Hagen label and sent them it for comparison. I was like, "It's okay, it's not great." And I said, "Look, this person, I don't want to blow up their spot here, but like got this big beautiful setup, spending a couple $1,000s on nice birds, and then they're feeding this kind of thing." And I get why people do it. I mean, I do it as a human to my own body,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it's cheap, it's easy, I'll just get
Well,
this. It's
we
easier
look at
than
what's
doing it,
convenient.
right? But the analogy I gave him was, if you bought a Ferrari, you spent all the money and put in all the effort to get a Ferrari, would you take it down to the gas station and put regular gas in it? And he said, well, I wouldn't buy a Ferrari, but no, you're right. I get your point. So, you know, especially if you only have a couple of pairs, you're talking about a couple of dollars a month to get your birds from junk food to like the finest,
Right.
chef prepared meals.
Yeah. And I did, and I posted, so when you guys see this video, it would have been last week on zebra finches and breeding zebra finches. I did a little piece at the start of that video highlighting the new Hagen seed that we get from New Zealand. So this is my first time using this product, and I felt like the seed that I was using before was okay seed. Now, again, for convenience reasons, I went through them because I could get them in larger quantities. I could get 50-pound bags, but the seed was a little bit more dusty. I mean, you could tell it's been through a mill, right? And it's just they threw whatever they wanted in there. Sometimes the consistency is not as great, things like that. Had a fairly decent mix of seeds, and better than anything that you could find in the grocery store. But then I got this Hagen seed mix from New Zealand, and I mean, you just smell the freshness when you open the bag. Like, I open it, and I I don't know, is it like scented on the seed because it smelled really good? I was like, man, I'm like making me hungry.
There's orange oil on it. I think it's orange oil, and it does a couple things. It helps keep it fresh, and it helps keep bugs out of it.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, it was awesome. And so I highlighted that and kind of showed the bag and what the seed looked like. It had, little bits of carrots in there. And it's like almost 20 different types of seed in this mix. And you've got finch, parakeet, cockatiel, parrot mixes. And the cool thing with New Zealand is you can buy these in 20-pound quantities now, which for Jay and I that have a lot of birds, that's better for us, right? It's hard when you go to the grocery store and you're buying, 5-pound bags of seed for $40 each week because you have so many birds and they're cranking through it because they only eat half of what's in the bag. You've got a better mix of seed with Hagen. Your birds eat them all. So I haven't just transitioned my birds fully to Hagen. I've slowly mixed in this new Hagen mix into the mix that I am using. And when I pull the seed dishes out and I look, I can see, because there's a difference in quality. I can see that the Hagen seed is being eaten way more than the seed that I was using prior. So, uh, yeah, I'd say awesome product. They have 20-pound bags and even smaller. I think 5 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound.
Yeah,
Jay
they've
at
got
New
like a
Zealand.
2.2 pound and
Hmm.
like a 10 pound. There's several different options, but
Yes, you've got lots of options that way, and the price is super comparable to any other product out there. So get a better quality of seed for the same price or even less in some cases. Yeah, absolutely.
and they'll ship it to your door. So
Ship it to your
so
door.
and I don't mean this the whole thing to be an advertisement, but it really is. Like, I used it before I got sponsored by them. I used it before New Zealand sponsored us. Like, it is, and I'll still, like, if I run low and I haven't gotten my latest update from sponsors, like, I'll buy it. Like, luckily I have a local bird store near me that sells it too. It really is really high quality, and that's important. So I guess that's the first piece here is, we're talking all about seed, and I see all over the internet that seed diets aren't the best for birds. Um, that is true for some birds.
Yeah.
Einstein, my Eclectus parrot, not a seed eating bird in the wild. Very rarely do I feed him seeds. I use him like a training treat or something. He loves them, but that's because it's kind of junk food for him. It's not the right diet for him. For finches, your passerine species, that is 90+% of their diet. They are almost like hummingbirds. They have a really high need for protein, pretty high need for fat. They need carbs. They need these things, and they get them from seed. Seed needs to be the majority of their diet, And, if somebody was going to say to me, well, should I feed greens or seed? If you have to pick just one, definitely seed. They've got to have seed available at all times.
Yeah,
At all
for the
times.
finches, your vegetables or greens and even fruit complement the seed, but your base diet is seed. And I sit out and we've got a pretty cool backyard. We've got lots of different birds that hang out year round here. And I don't put out seed for our wild birds. We've got enough plants and vegetation and wild seeds around that they eat that. And I will sit out there and watch them, Jay. Your finches, that's what they're eating. They're eating your dandelion seed heads. Or if you let your grass grow enough in your yards, and they start to seed, they're combing through your backyard eating those. Granted, they eat insects and they do eat some vegetables, but their main diet, they're looking for those seeds in the wild that they can pick and eat, and then they're complementing them with the other items that they can find, whether it be insects or other vegetations, things like that that come in the spring and summertime. So yeah, it's for your small birds, seeds are important for those high energy metabolisms that our finches have. That seed is a staple part of that diet, complemented by vegetables, fruits, etc.
And so like Chris was talking about, having a finch mix with a lot of different seeds in there is important. Different species, like for instance, in the wild, I believe it's sorghum, that Gouldians eat a lot of sorghum. So they need sorghum, but then you have some of your Asian species that are like almost all millet, and vice versa. And your doves, they eat a lot of millet. So to have that mix, because you're not able to go to each bird, like, okay, Steve, the Gouldian finch, which seeds would you like? Which seeds would you eat?
Right.
So, especially in a mixed aviary, but even if you have, even down to the individual bird, they like different seeds, and they kind of on their own will self-regulate what they need to be healthy,
Yep.
to a point, and they need room to exercise, but that's another episode. But so offering that mix and letting them sort of sort through and find the ones that they like and eat is how you can keep them healthy.
Yeah, and both you and I, Jay, we have a wide variety of different species of birds. I mean, how many species do you have, Jay? Do you know off the top of your head? Last I counted, I was at 18 different species.
You messed me up because you just sent me a new one. Maybe 21. I think
Right.
21.
And 18 species, 21 species, ranging from teeny tiny finches all the way up to doves, cockatiels, and your smaller parakeet species, the borks, and I also have the scarlet-breasted parakeets. This Hagen mix feeds all of them because of the different variety of seeds. So it's whether you have one finch or one bird, this mix is great for them. Or if you have multiple different species and birds, this mix is great for them. Now, I would say cockatiel is as big as I would go for the finch mix for Hagen. And I do actually mix in a little bit of parakeet and cockatiel seed in there, but they can do just fine off of that. When you get bigger than that, you're getting into your ringnecks and conures, and then even your larger, your eclectus macaws, things like that. That seed mix definitely changes, and also the diet changes, right? It's not mostly seed based; it's more vegetable and fruit based, and pellets and whatnot. But it can feed a wide range of species of birds healthily and give them the nutrients that they need to come into breeding condition, to come out of breeding condition, to feed their chicks. It's a great year-round staple diet, and something that's necessary for your birds. And again, for the price, for it to be able to ship to your door, and the freshness and quality of this seed, it's awesome. The birds love it. I've been super impressed, and I've only had it for a couple weeks now, but I can tell the birds have really been enjoying it, and I love the smell. I like scooping up the seed and feeding it. Like, it smells really good compared to the seed mix I was using before. It was dusty, like it just smelled like a bag of seeds. So that is a added benefit on my end. So if you want your house to smell good, while feeding your birds, get a bag of Finch Hagen mix.
Yeah, the Finch Gourmet is awesome. Yeah, I mean, and look, to kind of quantify this maybe a little better, so like feeding, when you feed high quality seed, and it doesn't have to be the Hagen. That's what we're using. I genuinely think it's the best, so I wouldn't that if you ask me what do you recommend, that's it. But there's, like I said, there's other good ones, but you'll see things like for breeding, like increased clutch sizes. Even if you
Yep.
don't breed, you'll see like better feather condition, healthier birds that live longer. Lack of, they won't have
More
joint
energy.
issues. They'll have energy. They won't have as many like neurological issues that can be caused by like long-term deficiencies from certain vitamins and things like that. Um, a well-rounded seed blend is the whole key. Like I said, 90+%. On top of that, uh, you want to do your egg food, which we've talked about in past episodes. We both have egg food videos and all that. Um, you want to do your egg foods. You want to do a little bit of fresh greens, so like kale is a great one.
Yeah.
Broccoli is another really good one. Um, Little pieces of carrot. Cucumber is a really good one. Um, Pieces of orange. If you cut up an orange into a slice and just stick it on a stick coming off the perch, or clip it to the side of the cage,
Uh-huh.
that's a good way to do it. Um, Trying to think what other stuff I really regularly feed them. I think I already said carrots. Really, that's pretty much what I
Fresh
feed.
peas. I do give,
Oh
we
yeah,
grew peas in
peas.
the garden this year. I gave them fresh peas and they devoured those. I think for vegetables, Jay, vegetables are pretty easy. If we can eat it, the birds can eat it, with a couple exceptions, right? Your spinach, you can feed them spinach, but you have to monitor that because it can reverse
It's a
your
calcium
birds.
sink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Your bird's ability to absorb calcium. So you have to be careful with spinach. But most of your dark leaf green veggies are great. Your colorful
Mhm.
veggies, peppers, squash, you can feed those to them. Those ones you just have to be careful, right?
Oh,
Because they can
squash is
spoil
another one
quick.
I do.
Yeah, they can spoil quickly, especially if you're in hot weather like Jay is. So you got to make sure whatever's left after a couple hours, pull it out so it doesn't start growing mold and get your bird sick. But
Yeah.
veggies are easy. If you can eat it, they can eat it, with the exception of spinach. And I would probably put like your iceberg lettuce. It really doesn't have that much nutritional value. It's more just a water.
Celery, same thing.
Celery,
Um,
but the darker the green or more vibrant the colors, typically the more nutrients and better for your birds and humans. So
do your homework. You want to avoid anything in the nightshade family, so like tomatoes, things like that. You want to
yeah.
avoid avocado. Oh, banana, another good one. You can,
Hmm.
do some little pieces of banana that can get through that. Um, Stuff like that is always good. It's also enrichment. Fresh green seed heads. So like in
Yes.
my yard, like Chris was talking about, I'll let my yard go a little crazy and let the grass seed up, and then I'll just go out and cut it with a scissors. Make sure it doesn't have pesticides. I know because it's my yard that
Yeah.
I don't pesticide it. Those are good options too. Another little pro tip: when you buy millet, at the end of the bottom of the millet bag, there's always some loose seeds. I plant those, and then they grow new millet stalks. And then
Yeah.
before those have ripened, I'll feed those. So like unripe millet. And then another thing, people do sprouted seed. I get questions about sprouted seed a lot. I don't necessarily have a problem with sprouted seed. I've done it. There's some risks with sprouted seed. You can get mold, bacteria, things like that. So there's a sprouted seed replacement that I got that's called Pearl Morbid.
Yeah.
It's either on the New Zealand site, or we're working on getting it on there.
I
It kind of
think
looks like,
he was working on getting it on there. Yeah.
yeah, um, it looks like dehydrated like Dippin' Dots, and then you add water, you let it sit out, and it's basically what they do is they take like sprouted seed, clean it, grind it up, and dehydrate it, and then you rehydrate it, and I add that into my egg food.
Yep.
So that's another really good thing, especially if you have young birds in the nest, because it's soft, so it's easy to
Yeah.
feed to baby birds. Um, it will make the poop kind of bright green, just a heads up.
Yeah. I do
But
put that in my egg food as well, Jay. And for the soaked seed, I do that as well. But like you said, you do be careful with it. And so I usually will rinse it twice a day, morning and evening, and a good thorough rinse. Put it in a strainer and just run it through the water. Get it nice and clean. You can stick them in the refrigerator, and that helps eliminate bacteria growth. But it also prolongs the time that the seeds sprout because it cools them down. So you can put them in the refrigerator. If not, then it usually takes 3 to 4 days before your seeds start sprouting, and then you can feed them to them. My birds love them. I do both, right, Jay? I do the actual sprouted seed and the Pearl Morbide in their egg food. But the birds really do like that soak seed, but you have to be careful. And my rule of thumb is, as I'm getting ready to feed that soak seed, I smell the seed, and if it smells a little sour or tangy, you're probably not in a good place to feed them. If it still just smells like wet seed and nothing seems off, then it's good. And I still will give it a good rinse and then scoop it into their seed dishes, and it's gone within an hour. They do love it. So you can do that. It just takes a little bit more time and dedication to clean that seed, rinse them day to day. But does provide some pretty good nutritional value for the birds.
And I also, in my aviary, and you've got planters too. In my aviary, I've got a dirt section and seed. I've got a feeder over it, so seed sprouts naturally, and you can see when it comes out of the ground, and then in the morning, and then by the evening, the birds have mowed it all back down, and then the
Yeah,
next seed comes up the next day. So there are ways to provide it safely. I just want to alert people there, be
for sure.
cautious with that. But um, yeah, I don't think we need to really super draw this out, right? So a good quality seed mix, not the easiest, most convenient one. We've now, used code BirdBrains 10% off on New Zealand. We've got
Yeah,
a method for you to get it conveniently at a good price. We're trying to make that work for everybody, but even if you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't breed mine and I don't do all this stuff, it is still worth it
absolutely.
for and you don't have to use our website. I don't care, get it at your local bird store, but get a quality seed mix, make that the majority of your bird's diet, add in the occasional greens, the occasional veggies, occasional enrichment foods, but keep that seed mix available all the time for those birds. And remember, finches are seed crackers. So like your doves will just eat a seed whole, and then they have like a gizzard and they'll grind it up internally. Finches crack the seed with their beak and then eat the seed out of the shell. So make sure that in your food dish, you don't just have a bunch of empty seed husks where the seed used to be. What I used to do is just blow the seed things off with my
Hmm.
mouth and then stir them back up. I now bought like a little miniature air blower to do it because I have to do so many. But make sure you keep that seed fresh. Make sure that you don't put out the seed mix with 20 different kinds. They eat the two kinds they like and then they're out of food kind of. So
Right.
keep it fresh, keep it rotating. Don't leave it out for too long. You'll get seed moss and other things in there. But for nutrition for finches, that is it. That's the
And
whole game.
and I would say, Jay, give it a try. I'm not one that like just goes out and be like, I'm gonna try something new. I'm just I'm a more reserved kind of guy. I don't expound my boundaries very often, but I'm extending the invitation to everybody listening right now. Give the Birdseed the Hagen Gourmet Mix a try. Go out, buy it, whether you have one bird or a bunch of birds like Jay and I. Go buy it. They've got several different weights of seed that you can buy, several different mixes. You got finches, you got parakeets, you've got cockatiels, all the way up to your hookbills. Give it a try. Drop a comment down below letting us know that you've tried it. Even if you've got 50 pounds worth of seed right now sitting in your house or in your bird shed like we do, try it, mix it in with your seed and see how your birds respond to it and how they do, and let us know what results you've gotten. So I just want to know if you guys actually try it. So drop some comments down below, letting us know if you've ordered it or not. I think it'd be pretty cool, kind of extending the challenge out to you guys, and because I want your birds to have the same access to this mix as what we've provided for our birds, and those nutritional benefits that we've just spoken about. So give it a try. Give your birds a nice treat with this new mix.
I just looked while we're talking. It right now on the website, 2.2 pound bag of Hagen Gourmet Premium Seed for finches, $9.95, and that's before the discount. So $10 plus shipping or whatever, but you get the discount. I don't know, somewhere less than $20.
Yeah, less than $20 plus Bird Brains merch coming with you. So you're buying
Right.
2 for 1, and it's coming to your front porch. You don't even have to step out to the pet store or the grocery store.
Yep. So I think that's it for this one. We really appreciate y'all. Hop in the comments if you have questions. If they have a more in-depth question, uh, you can find me. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, and Threads, which sucks. All some version of the Javiary. Chris, where can they find you?
I don't know why I always love it when your comment on Threads. It just makes me smile every time.
Every time I get on there, I hate it. It's terrible.
Every time
Every
I see
time I
it
get on
pop
there, I
up on my
regret it.
Instagram, I just like, Jay doesn't like it. I'm not even trying. Yeah, reach out to me. YouTube and Facebook is Bird Nerd. Instagram is Bird Nerd 4. All of them have the same logo with the blue parrot on there. So yeah, reach out. Love to hear you guys' comments. Let me know if you've tried the seed. I wanna hear your guys' results because I'm kind of in that trial phase right now, as it's the first time that I've been using it these last few weeks. And so far, it's been nothing but positive results for me and for my birds, and I'm really grateful for it. So, yeah, reach out to me, please.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, y'all. See you in the next one.
See you guys.